North. He was in another meeting today, this time with the Health Minister, Helen Whately, and the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Professor Jonathan Van Tam. How did that go?
I think it was a robust exchange of views. I think a number of us expressed our concerns. We were all very clear in that meeting that we don't want Greater Manchester as one block to be put into Tier 3, that we didn't feel that the evidence, the scientific evidence, was there to justify this.
So what do you think is the weakness then in the government's scientific advice that they're taking?
Well, I was disappointed because Professor Van Tam read out the statistics for Greater Manchester as a whole. But a lot of the time, this debate seems to come down to numbers. Now, in Bury, the cases have increased, which is extremely worrying. But the two hospitals in my area, Fairfield and North Manchester, which serve a geographic area of well over 1 million people, as of the 8th of October, had 8 people in ICU beds. Only 8 people in ICU beds. Between the 12th of June and the 25th of September, compared to the average 5-year mortality rate, Bury is 20 deaths under. Now, I've not yet received the mortality numbers from COVID between the 25th of September and the 15th of October as we speak. But the evidence that I have is not suggesting that the problem in terms of mortality and serious health conditions is such that we need more draconian measures. Professor Van Tam's argument was that if the number of cases that we see in Greater Manchester in a place like Bury continues, we are going to see excess mortality rates in 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm not convinced by that.
OK, I wonder if you will then just comment on what your colleague William Wragg said in the Commons this afternoon. He said the news from Manchester is that the impossible has been achieved. All members of Parliament, leaders of the council and the mayor are surprisingly in agreement with one another. The meeting they had with the Minister Whately today was pointless. I might as well have been talking to the wall. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with the language that Williams used. I can understand his frustration, and I don't think it's such a surprise. We are all elected politicians to do the best for our constituents. In these circumstances, bearing in mind we are there on the ground in Greater Manchester, we talk to local people, we know the local businesses, we know the local areas. We know that a continuation at Tier 2 with a proper package of financial support to cover areas such as the hospitality sector is the best way at this moment in time to address the situation that we're in. Politicians can take different views. We can take different views as to what the best way is to achieve an outcome.
So if the government decided tomorrow to impose Tier 3 on the Greater Manchester area, what would satisfy you in terms of a financial package?
I would be looking to increase support for the hospitality sector. I would be looking to increase support for individual workers beyond the current 67% that is proposed. I think we need to get something closer to the original furlough scheme. I completely support the Chancellor. I think he's a Northern MP. He's a listening man. He cares deeply about this country. And I will be speaking to him about my seat and saying that we need extra support to get us through this very difficult time.
Yeah, indeed, your seat has the narrowest majority in the country. In that context, are you worried that whatever it is that the government decides in London is going to put people like you out of a job come the next election?
That is of no consequence. I would hope that when people look at no matter what the political badge or what the political situation, they will look at MPs and say, did those MPs stand up for me? Did they represent the interests and what we elected them to do? If I don't do that, I would lose whether I've got a 105 majority or a 10,000 majority. So all I'm focused on, all I'm interested in is trying to do my best on behalf of my constituents.
James Daly, Conservative MP.